this girl is having some problems actually having a social life. Let's dig into it.
It's Saturday at 6 p.m. and I'm sitting alone in my apartment at my desk staring at my computer. Like 99.999% of every other Saturday.
Starting to build up.
And I went to get a pizza because I still don't know how to eat right. And
she seems like a college
Dartmouth
student.
Is graduated or graduating. And this always happens when I drive in on the weekend to get my unhealthy food that I eat alone in my apartment. And I see all of the Dartmouth students.
Ooh.
In their really cute outfits, walking around downtown, holding hands, walking down to the river, walking to their apartment.
She's feeling that comparison.
Sitting
already.
out on the green with friends.
Easy when you see all of that, especially in crowded places.
Stuff to do, or going back to their dorms so they can probably do stuff later because it's a Saturday and I get my pizza.
Also right there, she's likely engaging in scenarios in her head that are maybe not reality-based or as grandiose as she might be thinking. In this part of the video, she only says, oh, they're going back to their dorms to, do something. In her mind, she might be imagining something fun, or maybe they go back to the dorm, split ways, or maybe they just study together. Your mind often makes up worst-case scenarios. Tough to not give into that.
And I go back to my apartment because I don't have any friends. And honestly, I don't think I've ever had friends. Not like real friends. I mean, obviously, I had like friends in high school and college, but it was the most superficial level. If I was in class, I would have people to talk to. People liked me. I don't think I was a totally unlikable person. And I would do after-school activities, and people would talk to me, and I had people that I was close to. But we never did anything besides that. I never did anything after school in high school. If I did, it was rare.
So what we're seeing is also kind of an accumulation of loneliness and fear of missing out that didn't just start in college. It's amplified because there's way more social activity going on in a condensed area. But in high school, it sounds like she also didn't have a social life that satisfied her drive for that connection. And that's tough when it builds up over time.
Like the times, like prom.
And let me just get this out of the way. Prom is like one of the biggest FOMO parts of high school. If you're not in the United States, prom is this thing where a bunch of people get together and basically party for a night. It's a big coming of age thing, gets portrayed a lot in media as well. And it feels really bad to miss out on that. A lot of people will make a big deal of asking, other people out. Usually it's guys asking girls out to prom, and they'll make a big show of it. And if that doesn't happen to you, if you don't get some big borderline, proposal from somebody, then it's very easy to compare and feel bad about yourself. I imagine that's only gotten worse with social media. Like, we didn't have to see all these crazy proposals from trust fund kids on TikTok when I was going through high school, thankfully. And more or less, we'd only every now and then actually see a proposal that was gigantic and had a lot of thought put into it. But not going is really unfortunate because there's this huge fear of missing out. So that's a big coming of age thing for United States high school students.
Mom had to ask a friend's son to ask me, and then he left early with another girl, which at the time I thought
okay. All right. Oh, that's terrible. And I've always kind of maintained this, that if your age ends with a teen, your conscience has not really fully developed yet, and so you'll do some really mean stuff like that. High school students tend to be very selfish and self-centered because we all think that the world revolves around us at that age, and that's really tough. It leads to some very brutal moments of unkindness in high school. And it never feels good when your parents have to step in and help you with something. I personally don't see anything wrong with that now, but I absolutely understand where those feelings of inadequacy and impotence and incapability come from when you're going through that time of vast change. Everything's changing all the time in high school. And in general, your life will have like a very sharp beta, which is more of an investment term for the volatility of a stock. But also how stable your life is in high school, it's not. The investors would say it has a high beta for your average high school student compared to the rest of the parts of your life. After high school and college, things kind of even out a lot more, and it's a lot more chill.
Hilarious, because I could tell a story to my friends, and maybe that would be interesting. I haven't spoken to any of them in person. I'll see them on Instagram, but we've never hung out.
Yeah, don't blame me.
Any of my friends from high school.
Yeah.
Same thing with college.
Last part in the high school bit is, unless you have a really close and tight-knit group of friends in high school, most of the time people tend to just be friends due to proximity, seeing each other 5 days a week, sometimes 6 or 7. And if that's all there is to the relationship, then yeah, those friendships usually don't last after high school, if anybody was wondering.
I mean, it started senior year, but, like, the second people started doing stuff on the weekends, I was always alone in my dorm room, watching all the other kids walk to the party. Never had a friend that I would just spend time with and tell everything to. I really thought I got close with Caitlin and Molly and Katrina. And
I will also add one more thing in there. When you are at a 4-year university, but you are a commuter, you can also have a similar sort of experience where at the end of the day, you go home, there's this big awkward gap, and it's very tempting to compare yourself to those who live on or near campus, and especially if you have them on social media, you see them going to all these parties, particularly like freshman year, and you just have this massive sense of FOMO. So that can also be a lonely and isolating experience, as well as still being on campus, which I'm not quite sure if this girl is or not, but still being on campus and seeing this go on and not being able to participate because those connections haven't been built yet, even on a superficial level. Because friends that you party with, it's a total crapshoot whether you develop deep bonds with them or not.
It's been 2 years. I made a single friend, and
here's another thing that really hurts about stuff like this is if you don't address the underlying issues of building friendships, the longer time goes on, the more hurt and pain tends to accumulate, and it even makes it that much harder to get the virtuous cycle going of building friendships. Because when you're in that state of mind, essentially, you're not going into interactions with a vibrant, best part of you energy where you're like, yeah, life is great, and I just love meeting people, and, nothing really bothers me that much. Very hard to do that when you have a need that hasn't been filled yet. Very hard to pour from a cup that is empty, so to speak.
There was a girl I met on Bumble, but I never went anywhere and she moved. And you know what? It's my fault. Because, I complain about not having anyone, but the minute anyone does come to my life and I have a chance, I do nothing with it. She invited me over to her apartment. We ate. I could have talked to her, but every time she texted me, I would wait like a day to respond, and when we made plans, I would always feel awkward about it, because all I wanted to do was be back in my apartment. I'm alone.
Yeah, that's self-isolating behavior, for sure. When you get those opportunities to go out and enjoy companionship with somebody else, it's important to show up and communicate with them, learn about them, find commonalities, stuff like that. And so that is, unfortunately, a tough learning lesson that a lot of people go through, is those squandered opportunities.
So it's like, what the fuck is wrong with me that I complain about this and then really no effort to try to change it? I mean, ever since I started applying to grad school, I gave up and try to make friends here. And it's noticeable my landlord, Elaine, keeps commenting on how all of her past tenants do things on the weekends, basically calling me like a friendless loser, which is true, but like, to hear her just say that to me was really hard.
Okay, I didn't quite understand all of that. It sounded like either the person from the apartment that she was talking about or somebody else told her via social media story or message that she's a loser in some capacity. Either way, you don't want a friend like that. You don't want to add that person on socials. And it's generally best not to be around people that are cutting your legs out from under you.
And that's why I feel like, I mentioned earlier that I'm about to enter my mid-20s, and I feel like I experiences or social skills. It's not just that I don't have them, it's that I feel like I'm delayed. By the time I do make friends, it's just gonna be so late for me.
It's always tempting to think it's too late, and there is maybe a thing as being too late, but the next best time is still when you realize that. And that never stops. So if you're 80 and you decide, oh, I'm late to the party and learning social skills, the next best time is still like that instant.
Yeah, don't even get into relationships. I mean, that's the same story, but I feel like that's a whole fucking other mess, And everyone tells me I'm young, time, but it's still hard. So gross. I'm sorry. I knew I was crying like this. I just don't know what's wrong with me, that I can't make it work, that I'm just lazy when it comes to making friends. I just want it to be easy,
I think everybody wants making friends to be easy. And when that doesn't happen naturally, or what we presume is naturally, because often we observe from afar the people who do take initiative and either consciously or subconsciously are intentional about getting to know people and, giving themselves lots of opportunities to mingle with others. It's very easy to think that there's something that's wrong with us. And that is a really harsh and terrible feeling, I think. And the reality is that it takes effort and it takes intentionality to live your life in a way that you can make friends. So, for example, in this person's case, they need to put themselves out in more what I call ground level community events and groups and activities so that they have the chance to bump elbows with people. And while they're in those places, they need to take more initiative to talk to other people. And that's hard. It's scary. It's not easy. But that simple mindset shift of taking the initiative and being intentional will yield far better results than hoping for everyone to just come to you.
When you just find that person that you're with all the time, and again, I'm not talking romantic, especially when I would just talk to them because I had no one else. But now with all the divorce stuff, there's stuff I can't talk to them about, and I have no one, and Travis is emotional, and I can't.
Yeah, that's another factor that heavily weighs in on confidence and feeling okay, and that type of security and safety emotionally translates a lot into your ability to take risks, which are inherent anytime you're in a new social setting. So absolutely, a divorce will affect a kid's confidence. It'll affect their support network. And I don't know if she has siblings or not. It sounds like she does. If you can't talk to them either, then yeah, you're in a pretty tough situation.
I just look at myself and I don't know, wasting all these days. I just feel I'm just so lonely all the time. But I'm also terrified of it, and I also want to be alone. Like, maybe I'm just meant to be alone. Maybe some people are meant to just be alone.
Yeah, I think that also can be a pretty damaging belief if that's not something you want. I think the people that are actually meant to be alone are people that want to be alone. If you don't want to be alone, then it's important to get those social needs filled. But bootstrapping yourself when you're in essentially an emotional pit is very, very difficult. It does actually start with baby stepping and some simple mindset shifts, but it can be very tough to realize that when you're in the middle of it. In 10, 20 years, when she looks back on this, it'll seem honestly a lot less important and a lot less simple. A lot less complicated than she feels like it is right now. But absolutely, right now she's feeling it, and getting out of that hole is, it's absolutely a tough trek.
And I just feel like I'm expected to have people. Like, when I picture my future, I see what I want. But when I think what's actually going to happen, I see myself being that woman in her 40s who never found. So, I don't know, I adopt a kid or, like IVF or something. Like, I don't think wrong with that, but, I don't see myself meeting anyone.
And here's that mental projection that she's forming for herself while she's in that hole. Yeah, you can't see the beautiful outside when you're in the hole. But once you start gaining ground, once you start having those small successes stacked on top of each other, that's when it starts becoming hopeful. That's when it starts becoming realistic for you to have a fulfilling life and for you to envision that. I think it's important to always take stock of where you are, but don't accept just staying there if that's not where you want to be. Because it sounds like she wants to get married, 2 kids, white picket fence, dog.
I like those things, but I don't think I'm gonna get it. Kyle will. I know they will. And I'll be the older who's getting constantly lapped in life by your younger siblings. And I'm so happy for them, and I'm not full happy. They deserve to be happy, but...
See, that right there is actually very impressive on this young woman's part, which is, even despite her predicament and her current, devastating emotional state, she's still able to have the thoughtfulness and consideration to be happy for people that are important to her in her life. It sounds like these are her 2 brothers. And it's that kind of goodwill and that kind of being happy for other people that if you can actively kind of express that even when you are not in a great place, that is very, magnetic. And that's where you can get really good experiences with people if, despite your own predicament, you're happy for others. And you do that enough times, other people are going to resonate with that. You're going to find commonalities. And you're going to be coming from a good place, even though you don't feel like you're in a good place.
You're supposed to look up to your older sibling.
And I would say she's putting a ton of pressure on herself, which is not fair to herself. But I definitely think that the oldest sibling has a lot of pressure in general put on them from their family or kind of some societal expectations, I guess you could say. And that's only going to compound your problems when you have these, crazy expectations, of yourself that likely is the majority of your own doing.
And I genuinely don't know what they have to look up to me for when they made more friends and more relationships.
The fact that she wants to be a good role model, to be somebody that's succeeding in life, to be somebody happy, to be somebody that, people can look up to, it's something to be admired. And, her heart's in the right place, but her heart's just hurting a lot right now.
Travis is already in a better, higher paying job. They've traveled more. They've experienced more. What do they have to look up to me for? Now I'm just pitying myself. It looks so fucking depressing. I feel like stuff has to change, but I don't know how to change it.
There it is. So you eventually hit this kind of rock bottom and you realize something has to change. Whatever you're doing, it's not working. But how do you do that? And that is the $1 million question that I hope that I'll be able to start cracking into on my channel.
I just want to run into somebody. I hate people online. It's so awkward. And you put all this into a conversation, but when you meet someone, you don't have that. I feel like I need to meet people.
The personality catfish.
How possible to just run into people.
So part of what she's saying too, this is totally armchair psychologist, but it sounds like she is depressed because when it seems like every road leads to a dead end, when you can't see any possibility of something good happening, that can be a sign that you are carrying a very dark cloud over you. And there's definitely some mental health components that will affect your social outlook on life as well.
Just gonna be sitting. I think I'm a good person. I think I have a lot to offer. I don't know how to make myself try. I don't know how to make myself more invested. And when someone texts, to text back immediately and to just be excited about playing it, and to not to say, "Oh, I want my alone time," when I'm alone all the time. I think this is why it made me drink a lot on the weekends.
Okay, yeah, that's not gonna
because
help
I'm
either.
not drinking tonight. I had a Coke when I went to get a pizza.
Yeah, drinking by yourself is also probably going to compound a lot of the issues. You're not going to feel as sprightly or as lively as you might. And it affects your mental state of being, I believe, a lot too. Plus, drinking by yourself is a one-way ticket to alcoholism town.
I don't know why I'm talking. Wow, this has been so great. People keep saying it'll happen. You know, when I was in middle school, they said high school, and high school, they said college and life, and now I'm here. I think people are running out of excuses to tell me about why I'm stuck in this place. And there's no one to be mad at by myself. I can't be mad at the world.
See, she's actually really handling her thoughts and feelings in a pretty mature manner. She's not blaming other people. She might be very heavy-handed on herself, but she's not blaming external excuses for why she's not able to do this or that in her social life. And I think, honestly, with just a few small mindset and actionable tips, she'd be right as rain. It takes a lot of bravery to be this honest, and especially to put it online too.
I'm mad at myself because I don't try.
And see, she's starting to realize the issue.
I really don't. And then I get so mad. It's like I'm just so terrified. It's the same thing with work. I'm so terrified that I'll fuck it up, that I don't do anything at all. And then, of course, if you don't do anything at all, then it happens. So it's like trying to avoid that fear. I'm just ensuring that the fear will happen. I mean, when I move back to Hampton, I really gotta step it up. I gotta join all those students.
There you go. So now she's forming a plan.
I gotta get a job and talk to the people. I gotta be on Bumble BFF. I gotta join groups.
Yeah, this is great. She's realizing it. So she did this is actually a really cool ending to the video because she identified her problems and then she identified that like what she's doing isn't working, resulting in those problems, and that something has to change. And now she's actually making a plan to change those things. This is actually a very impressive video for self-awareness and actually moving forward.
I have to try, and I feel like that's really going to be the test. I think the past couple years have been hard, but I think don't fix it in the next year when I'm back in Hampton. I think that's just going to be who I am because I don't know. I just feel like I said before, 20 to 23, early 20s, 24 to 26, or mid-20s, 27 to 29, or late 20s. I'm about to enter my mid-20s without ever having a solid friend. And that needs to fucking change. Either that needs to change, or I need to just be okay with it. I either need to start making friends or just accept the fact that I'm gonna be this alone person and just come to terms with being like the cool aunt the way Janie is to Ellen and Kelly and Ryan and Connor, that I'll just be the cool aunt for Travis and Kyle. Like I either have to change my habits or just accept the habits I already have. And
what's really cool about that is she's not being a victim anymore. She, in her own mind, she is making an actual decision. She says, I either have to accept that my actions are going to lead to me being this person, and I need to be accountable for that, or I need to make changes if I want to change my life. And I think that's really cool, especially when you're in that emotional pit. Coming up with this level of self-analysis and an actual hypothesis on how to change things, plus a conclusion on whether you will accept your actions and where they lead you to. That is really tough to do. That literally takes people years to figure out sometimes. And she just did it. I mean, in a 15-minute video. It likely has been bouncing around her head for a while, though. But to be able to concisely put all that together at once, because it doesn't seem like this is too premeditated or scripted, that's very impressive.
I think I'm going to give it another year of the first option, and then after that, we'll talk about acceptance.
And see, that's even better. She gave herself a timeline. She gave herself a real time period to see change and to make course corrections in, which is great. It's not someday. It's not, oh, when I feel like it. It's 1 year. No excuses. That is very impressive. That was a banger video from 3 years ago by Girl in a Blue Dress. I'm going to make a prediction for the comments here. I'm going to predict that there's a lot of people that feel the same way and are in her same position right now. Especially the part about being in a dorming situation and seeing other people supposedly have the time of their lives and they aren't. 28, no job, no girlfriend, no car, dad died 2 years ago. Life is not easy. Good luck to anyone saying this. Dude, that is absolutely tough situation, especially when you have tragedy that complicates your feelings of loneliness. 21, dropout, cancer. Oh my word. Abandoned by girlfriend during chemo. That is, wow, yeah, that is huge. No car, no friends, no hope, still fine. Shout out to the brave souls out here. So a lot of people here, it sounds like, are commiserating just being in a really tough spot in life. That would be amazing. I wish all the lonely people could spot other lonely people. Yeah, the reason that hypothetical scenario would be tough is because being lonely is just not very sexy to anyone, girls or guys. And it's so unfortunate that we extrapolate a person's potential experience with us by their current life situation. So, for example, I was walking down the street and I had a magical indicator that I could see other lonely people. I think I would be hesitant about talking to them because I think it's easy to imagine, oh, there might be a reason they're lonely. There's an issue with them. There's something wrong with them. And I think a lot of people think this way. But I'd wager the majority of lonely people are just in a spot of life where their connections have decreased to the point where they don't really have somebody that they feel like is in their corner. It's like, man, I'm telling you, all you really need is at least just one person that's really in your corner for you. And that just powers you up so much. I'm a 59-year-old man. I have no friends, no close relatives, never been married, no children. I used to think there's something wrong with me. See, there's that self-blaming that happens a lot with people that are lonely. But then I read a line from the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Hell, there's other people that really picked me up. I work, I read, travel, and generally, I'm happy. There's nothing worse than being around people who you don't especially like. Yes, you don't want to settle. That's the thing. You don't want to settle for being around people that you don't like. But there has to be give and take with the people you're around as well. And giving people the benefit of the doubt, especially if they've, been good to you in the past, is something I'd recommend. Being in a relationship with somebody you actively despise, been there, is worse than anything. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're young, you're smart, be patient, it'll happen. Okay. I literally searched up on YouTube. I have no friends because I feel so alone. The hardest part is I've had a beautiful friendship. She is like my sister. We did everything together, told each other everything. She ended up moving to a different country. This was about 2 years ago, and we barely talk anymore, and I feel like I'm never ever going to experience a friendship I had like that again. Yeah, that is really tough when you have that best friend or friends, and you guys are just have a deep bond with each other, and then something happens and they're not in your life anymore. As I like to say, if you're not making friends, you're probably losing friends. Not through anyone's fault, but people get married, have kids, move away, you know, and so many things can happen. And that's not to say that you're going to find amazing friends everywhere you go, but there's different levels of friends, and you got to keep searching until you find the level of friends that you're looking for, especially when you're looking for, you know, deep, solid connections with other people that are like of good character, kind, and all that good stuff. So yeah, seeing her crying broke my heart into a million pieces. Absolutely. I think it was really brave to not edit that. I think that was a single take. She didn't even take out the tissue part, which I'm very impressed with. It's too easy sometimes to edit out our flaws on camera. I'm mad at myself. Okay, here we go. I'm mad at myself because I don't try. Yeah, trying is scary. Trying is hard. And trying gets you out of your comfort zone. It gives you the chance for things to change. And all of that's very scary and hard to motivate yourself to do. Yeah, see, this guy recognizes it too. In this day and age of social media, miserable trolls, it takes a lot of guts to do what you did in this video. I hope you find what you're looking for. Absolutely. This girl's brave. I think she'll be fine. Literally just, if she sticks to her own plan that she made for herself at the end of the video, try something different. Get out there. Start making real effort, even if it kills you. Then yeah, absolutely, I think she'll find what she's looking for. I just don't know what's wrong with me is a question I've asked myself a million times before. It's horrible having no friends over time. I've gotten used to it. Yeah, that is. A lot of self-blame goes into loneliness. We equate being lonely with other people's perception of our value or our actual lack of value as a person, and it's so easy to just blame ourselves for it. It's actually harder to look for the situation that you know, actually you're in and how to get out of there. The realization that she doesn't make effort to change her own life, that was a big one too.